budget, and what suggestions have you made in terms of cuts that were suggested by the Senate?
Well, I have the final word on the budget, and we have to have a budget that reflects the values of the people of Illinois. And one of the most important values is to teach our children, and I think education and schools are really, really important. And so I want to make sure we have proper investment in education in Illinois, from birth on, from early childhood to kindergarten through 12th grade, community colleges. I think we have about 1 million students in community college in Illinois, and also our 4-year public universities. We've, I think, had great success this year in enacting education reforms to make our classrooms even more accountable and hopefully better outcomes. And we have to have adequate resources to carry out these reforms. And I think it's very important that the House and the Senate come up with a decent budget for the children of Illinois and the adults of Illinois when it comes to education and their health care, and definitely our public safety.
The House proposal cuts about $130 million below the level of last year, this current year, for general school aid. Right. Is that a bad idea?
I'm not very happy with that at all. Matter of fact, they even cut out the money to evaluate the reforms that we're enacting in the classroom. There has to be a modest amount of resources, I think it's about $20 million, to really carefully check to make sure these reforms are being carried out and we have good outcomes where children are learning more. For the House to be cutting that out of the budget is very short-sighted.
So you might veto that?
Well, we want to work with them. You know, this is an ongoing process. It's going on right now. It's collaborative. I meet with legislative leaders, members of the legislature, and others who are interested in the budget. And we want to make sure we have a good budget for people of Illinois. A budget that helps our economic recovery and helps our jobs. I don't want to have a budget that ends up hurting our economic recovery, and I've told that to every legislator of both parties.
Can you respond to the idea that you just want to, both the House and the Senate say that you want to spend several $1 billion more than the revenue that's available? They say your budget spends money we don't have.
Well, we've had 15 straight months of declining unemployment. That's good. We've had more jobs created in Illinois in the past year, about 100,000 jobs. We're #1 in the Midwest at creating jobs, and we want to continue that. We want to make sure that we have a growing economy. I don't want the legislature to inadvertently harm our economy, put us back in recession by short-sighted policies. One of them would be cutting our education budget in a draconian, severe way that hurts our schools. Same way with other things in our state government. So part of my job is to make sure that we keep on the path of economic growth. The most important way to help people.
Are they correct, Governor, that when they say you're spending money we don't have in your budget proposal?
That isn't true at all. Matter of fact, because of our economic growth, we're happy to say we're getting more revenue in our income tax and our sales tax. I think we should always keep an eye on the tax code to make sure there are no loopholes. And if we can close loopholes that benefit special interests and use that money for education, health care, public safety, we should do that for the people. That's what I'm here for.
What about
I'm for the common good. And the common good is the bottom line for, I think, the legislature, that they've got to do things that are good for people, especially their kids learning and their safety. And we just fought a flood in Illinois. 15 days. It was a siege. 15 days of water rising, threatening communities. We had to deploy every resource in our state government, from the National Guard to the state police to our Department of Natural Resources to transportation. Everybody was involved in fighting this flood. Well, we do have to pay for that. And we have to have men and women who volunteer to go forward in the face of danger to take care of the public safety. So it's important to have a governor who stands up for safety of the people, education of the people, decent health care for the people, and I'm going to do that every day.
Governor Quinn, what are your thoughts about the gambling proposal?
Well, I've said over and over again, we can't have a top-heavy proposal in Illinois on gambling. It's going to make us Las Vegas of the Midwest. The people don't want it. I'm absolutely convinced of that. Every time the proposal comes along, they keep adding on, making it more and more top-heavy. So my view would be, the current proposal is just not really what the public wants.
You said that you wanted Chicago casino. Would you accept slot machines at Arlington Park? Would you accept other racetracks with slot machines?
My view is anything to do with gaming, #1, has to help education. Number two, it's got to be within proper bounds. I also think that it should try in any way to help economic growth and jobs. It has to meet those tests, anything.
But the plan says it's been done to pay down the backlog of bills, which you've been arguing that lawmakers need to address for 2 years.
Well, gambling sounds good if you say it fast. There's a lot of proposals out there that just, when you look at them, you wonder how much money indeed they are going to raise. We're not going to have slot machines everywhere you look around in our state of Illinois. This proposal to have slot machines at the state fair, I'm not at all excited about that. When families come to the state fair, we have a great state fair, the best in the country. And I really want that to be a family time, and having all kinds of gambling there is a great concern.
How about
You need
slot machines at O'Hare Midway?
I think any proposal that deals with gaming has to be within very tight boundaries, and it must raise significant money for schools and our education. And I think it has to be in a way that can be easily regulated and policed so that it doesn't get out of hand.
You need one or more votes from Republicans on the current borrowing plan in the Senate. What are you doing to get those votes?
Well, we're making progress. We want to thank the Springfield Chamber of Commerce, which came up with a proposal, and they've agreed with us that a 7-year term for a restructuring of debt we already owe. When you say the word borrowing, Illinois owes billions of dollars to schools, to units of government, to vendors and businesses. We want to pay that off. I inherited that from 2 decades of failure to pay. And so what we want to do is pay it now, pay it all. And so this plan that we're working on, that Senator John Sullivan is the sponsor in the Senate, I think it's a good plan. Borrow, I think, restructure about $6.2 billion of borrowed money already, and put it in a way that the people who are owed the money get paid right now, and help our economy.
What's Governor Schilling doing your staff?